podcast.
What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners? Coming back at you today with Fight Bros MMA show number 47. As always, I'm Marcus Burks, and this is my guy, Albert Walters.
Hey. Happy to be here as always, folks.
Hey, cool fact for you. Last podcast, Albert didn't have this big ring he's got on.
Boom.
You know,
Your girl got married.
According to Uncle Sam, you know, he was single, and now he's living that married life.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of people ask you, like, oh, what's it like? And it's, if you say it's any different, then there's a problem there.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't really affect your day-to-day life. It should just affect your taxes, I guess.
Yeah, just the same way. Now there's just a title to it.
Now
But
there's
it's the same.
now there's more of a title. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's cool. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool, man. I had a great time at y'all's wedding, so that was.
I know it was a fun.
That was
day,
one of the
man.
funner ones I've been to, and I haven't got to dance in a while, so I enjoyed
Yeah.
like dancing.
Yeah, I know. We had a lot of people dancing.
Just being a little goofy, man. You know.
Yeah, just being silly, just
Yeah.
getting at it. You know. No, I love dancing.
Yeah. me
But
too.
I feel like that was most of the photos for the dancing section. Our photographer just got a lot of me. It's like, hey, I don't want to see all those. Like, let's see the guests.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, man. Yes, so guys, getting down to business here. We haven't done an MMA show in a while, mainly because I just feel like the product the UFC has been putting on in MMA and the combat sports world in general just hasn't been interesting lately to talk about. That's why I've kind of been just doing more cryptid podcasts lately. I haven't even bought the last couple of pay-per-views they had. I just feel like the product that they've been putting out, these pay-per-views they've been giving us, haven't been great. You know,
Yeah.
they upped that price. I was telling somebody that today. I said the first pay-per-view that got me into watching UFC was it was right before the day before college, 2015. We was at Blacksburg IMAX, and we went there to watch Nate Diaz versus Connor 2, and the pay-per-view was $55 at that time, $55.99. Yep. Fast forward to 2022, $75.99, and I just feel like you're not putting on good enough cards. If anything, you're giving us two high-profile fights, and that's why I haven't been invested in these last couple. Like it's gonna take a bigger card for me to buy.
To spend that much on a fight. Yeah. Well, you want to know my take on it? It's similar to if you got a letter in the mail that said, "Hey, we're gonna start charging you taxes, like more on taxes, to help pay for like your so that we could give all your policemen and teachers higher salaries." I wouldn't be opposed to a higher tax that goes towards that. And same thing with this. If the increase in the pay-per-view cost was going to the fighters, I'd say heck yeah, let's do it. Mm-hmm. But it's not. Yeah. No, it's going right to the admin's pocket, and so it's like you're giving us bad fights and charging more. What do you expect? Views are going to drop.
So, man, I'm glad you brought that up because that's been a big issue here lately is the fighter pay. And, I mean, it's been an issue, but there's putting more notice on it now. Okay. Notably, the thing that got most people interested in how low these fighters are getting paid. Yeah. I mean, they're getting paid more than us, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. You know, they might make $300,000, $500,000 for one fight, but what about if they get hurt? That's the only fight they did all year. They probably got to pay their training camp. You know, I would say,
I'd say
I don't know,
40,000, 50,000.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, maybe even more than that. For a high-level fighter, I wouldn't be surprised if your training camp would cost $100,000 because you're probably going to have multiple trainers, more or less, that you're paying full-time.
And then you got your nutritionist, you know, all. I know UFC has their performance center now, but I don't know how that entails, what the payments involved in that.
I was surprised in those, who is it, some guy on YouTube, or was it ESPN that, like, films fighters in their day-to-day life right before a fight?
Anatomy of a Fighter.
Yeah. when they showed DC before his Miocic fight, he's just in like a suburban house and stuff like that, and you're
Yeah.
like, what? Like, you're one of the best fighters right now. Like, you're one of the top guys. You make a huge name for yourself. Why are you? And I mean, I like the
Mhm.
suburbs. Don't get me wrong, but when it's every fighter living like that, you realize it's not.
Dude, I've
by
noticed
choice.
that too.
Yeah.
Is it's like a lot of the top guys that we and this could be by choice, but a lot of the top guys that we look up to and they're at the top of their game, they're bringing in all kinds of pay-per-view points. I mean, they've got like what we would consider a nice like two-story house in Pulaski. They've got that in like LA or Texas or something. I mean, I know they're paying a lot more than what we would pay for it down here, but I agree with that statement 100%. Like a lot of our champions and stuff, like McGregor is living in a mansion. He's got the yacht, but let's take into a fact as well that McGregor,
He's made
most
a
of
lot
his
off boxing.
most of his income is not the UFC.
No.
Yeah.
And when we see UFC fighters with these luxurious items, it's because of that. It's because they've branched out, or they're getting some kind of like sponsorship or whatever. So we saw that with Masvidal. Literally overnight, he went from being broke to, buying Lamborghinis and stuff like that and flaunting it all over Instagram.
Yes. So, kind of reverting back, when this kind of got put on a big notice to like social media and everything was when Ngannou was fighting. Francis Ngannou, just a couple of months ago, fought his last fight on his contract against Cyril Gane. Francis Ngannou won. He finished out his UFC contract as a UFC champion. So he is no longer associated with the UFC, and he has the heavyweight belt. He made $500,000 for that fight, I think, and that was after pay-per-view buys and everything. Wow. And they compared it to what Tyson Fury and other people made for fighting. Like Tyson Fury, he made like $30 million for fighting Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, I don't remember how much he made, but it was close to that $30 million. And Francis Ngannou, literally the scariest person in the world. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury.
I don't know why they don't consider going to boxing if they're paying that much.
That's what Francis is doing, because UFC, and this, our next topic with Nate Diaz, UFC, if you have one fight left on your deal, they don't want to give you a fight until you re-sign and re-sign a contract extension when you still have one fight or so left on your deal. They'll let you rot. Yeah. They'll let you rot and won't give you a fight. And Francis, they had to give a fight because he was the champion.
Yeah.
And what kind of turned me off too, after Francis won the belt, Dana White did not stay out there to put the belt around him. And it's because of the contract negotiations. I think that's ridiculous. We saw Dana White do stuff like that with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
And now and Tyron Woodley wasn't going through a contract dispute. That's just him and Tyron had a disagreement or whatever. But still, you're the promoter, you're the boss. Do what you got to do. And that just turned me off when he didn't put the belt around Ngannou. I mean, it's like literally this fight, Ngannou against Cyril Gane, showed you that he's just not a knockout artist.
Yeah.
He literally, he went into that fight, everybody was like, oh, if he doesn't get the knockout, he's done. Like, Gane obviously is a very good fighter on the feet. He can wrestle. He is very technical, and that's what people said would happen if Francis doesn't get the knockout. Well, what do you know? Francis gets 3 takedowns. All of a sudden, Francis is a top-tier wrestler now.
Yeah.
And you can't show him enough respect after the fight to wrap the belt around him.
Yeah.
And that just kind of turned me off too, man.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like if I'm paying you this $75, that it's going to Dana and it's not going to these fighters.
No.
Now, I agree in prize fighting. You put on the entertainment for me. I'm getting enjoyment out of you, getting hurt a little bit and banged up. So I want that money to go to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's why I've honestly considered switching my interest towards boxing.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, it seems more, and I mean, I love the UFC, but I kind of get tired of all this, man.
Yeah.
I kind of get tired of you're increasing what we have to pay, but you're not increasing fighters' pay.
It's ridiculous, man. And then every other sport, like the NBA has a players' union, the NFL, and
Yeah.
it's like Dana and them are just trying to keep these fighters from getting a union. It's ridiculous.
I mean, Jake Paul rapped about it.
Yeah.
And it's bad when you need someone to like make a song about it.
Yeah. And Jake Paul's done a really good job of just putting it on notice. Now I know some of that's probably to get himself clout.
No, yeah,
but,
well, like he's very much like a look at me kind of guy. So
but I appreciate him using as big as a platform as he has to speak up for these UFC fighters, because and just to put it into a little more perspective, we got guys fighting on fight night cards. I think the most they can make is like 10 or 14,000. So look, those guys have to fight 4 or 5 times a year to even be middle class.
Yeah.
Not even really middle class after you pay everything you need to pay.
Exactly.
So I mean, they're gonna have to fight more.
Yeah.
And these are the guys that are your early prelims and all that, and that's crazy.
Yeah. It's just sad, man.
Yeah. So we were talking about contract negotiations. Francis is a free agent. But so
I'd love to see him move to boxing.
So I don't know what's going to happen. You kind of have like a WWE. You remember when CM Punk was the champion of WWE and his contract was up, and I guess they was under the aspect he was going to resign, and he just took the belt with him. I think he brought it on another show too, which is what they didn't want. But yeah, Francis is.
I'd love to see Francis do that because it's his belt.
Yeah, so Francis is the champion. He's not involved with the UFC anymore as of right now, unless they get something worked out. But yeah, so the same thing is happening with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier have been literally on social media for months saying, "Hey, I want to fight you. All right, I want to fight you too. All right, man, send the contract." The UFC won't send the contract, but we want to both fight each other. Like, that's literally what they've been doing for months. Like, Nate Diaz and Poirier, I think they wanted to fight on this UFC 272 card that's coming up. And you could have used them to fight on it, because as we'll get into later in the podcast, it's not star-studded.
No.
And that's what makes me debate about getting it, is because I'm tired of just buying pay-per-views to watch 1 or 2 fights.
Yeah.
And that's what's sucking. But yeah, Nate Diaz has 1 fight left on his UFC contract. They won't, like I said before, I think that Dana and the UFC are not giving him this fight. I think Dustin and Nate make sense. Nate is your money. You use your money. Whether he wins or loses, that's your money. That's your star power. Dustin just lost a title fight. He deserves a money fight. Dustin's a big player in that lightweight division. There's a title fight going on with Gaethje and Oliveira. I think Dustin and Nate at 170 makes sense. Dustin deserves a big payday.
Yeah.
But Nate won't sign an extension with the UFC. That's why they're not going to give him this fight. So I literally think, I think George St. Pierre is still under UFC contract.
Yeah.
He's never going to fight again, but they're not going to release him, or I don't know if he can buy out. Or Chad Mendez. Chad Mendez just boxed for bare knuckle fighting. The UFC let him do that, but he's still under UFC contract. But he's not, UFC's not really giving him any active fights.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I really think they want you just to rot under that contract, and they don't want you to make any money without them.
Yeah.
So that's because I think Nate, and everything that's kind of leading up, Nate wants to get into boxing.
Yeah.
I think he's tired of the inactivity and the build-up that UFC wants to do with you.
The clout.
Yeah, and I think he wants to fight Jake Paul. That's everything that I've seen. That's what he wants. That's a big payday. Tyron got paid twice. He got paid more money than he ever got paid in the UFC in just one of those fights.
Yeah.
So, and Tyron got it twice. And then we seen Jake Paul was real when he knocked out Tyron.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big, knocking out. And I don't think Tyron's the kind of guy that would go in there and give you a gift, and to be able to knock him out. And we're not talking about a TKO. We're talking about
it was a KO.
unconscious.
Cold, man.
Yeah. That guy's for real.
Yeah.
And so Nate and Dustin's not working out. Conor said he wants back in July. Do you maybe think UFC's holding out for Conor Nate 3 in the summer, And I think that's even a stretch, Connor coming back in July, because his leg was literally broke. That takes about a year.
Yeah.
When did that happen? That happened last summer, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Actually.
Yeah, so he's coming up on a year, but that's tough. I think that's a tough fight for him to come back against Nate Diaz after the injuries and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. But what's going on with Nate Diaz and Dustin? They just posted stuff yesterday about wanting to fight each other again. It's been going on for months. Do you remember when Dustin and Connor started tweeting at each other and the UFC made that fight happen within weeks?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, it's not hard for him to make it happen.
It's like okay, both guys want it. All you have to do is send the contracts. It seems simple at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Nate wants to get out, so I really think he would be kind of generous on what you're paying him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but yeah. Moving on from that, another big story that's been going on. This body cam footage got released 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about Jon Jones here and the state of Jon Jones, what's going on with him. Now, given this was an old dash cam footage, it was disturbing. And I hate when stuff happens like that. I felt that if you release this, it should have got released a little bit closer to when this actually happened.
Yeah, it should have been more of a current event.
Because I've always said I hate,
because right now it tarnishes their character.
Yeah, I hate when people on Facebook will share somebody from Pulaski that we know goes to jail and they're on the front of the newspaper, and then people just share it on Facebook to get enjoyment out of that person's downfall. I hate that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm not a Jon Jones fan, but I hate that this is happening after.
Yeah. Well, it's actually almost been close to 9 months.
Yeah.
Because it happened in July of last year, and they're releasing the video now.
But yeah, this happened after the UFC Hall of Fame. If you haven't seen the video, it's everywhere on the internet. But he was pretty much being detained by police officers. And the disturbing part was he asked them to hang him, hit him, kill him.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah,
he was saying. He hit his head against.
And
the
then
hood
he
of the car.
slammed his head against the hood of their car.
He kept calling the cop a nerd.
And this was literally the night after he got one of his fights inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. So yeah, that's tough. And then fast forward a few months later, he's got the domestic abuse stuff happening with him and his fiance, and I think he put on Twitter a couple of days ago that they're no longer together. So I'm just wondering where his head's at moving into 2022. Yeah. The fight we wanted, Francis is hurt now. He's out for 9 months because of he tore his MCL in the fight against Gain. We wanted to see Francis versus Jon. That was the big fight to make, right? Jon's been not fighting for 2 years.
Yeah.
He's been bulking up, doing all this work to literally get this Francis fight, and he wants to cement himself as the best fighter ever by bulking up and beating one of the scariest people on the planet. So now we're looking at, it's not going to be Francis. This stuff with Jon going on, do you think he'll fight in 2022? And who do you think it'll be against if not Francis? Do you think there is enough popularity for him to have an interim title fight against Stipe Miocic or Rosenstruck or Gain?
I do think the popularity's there.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's gonna fight this year because I don't know, man. Other than this, he's just not been in the news lately. He's not been vocal about wanting to fight anyone specific, and where you're talking about someone who hasn't fought in 2 years, it's kind of hard to even anticipate who they would fight next, but he's got a big name. So like you said, it would probably be like Miocic or Rosenstruck.
Yeah, and that was the thing is they were saying that Miocic and Jon Jones for an interim title could be a legit thing moving forward. I don't think you necessarily need an interim title, but the weird thing is Stipe, he hasn't retired from UFC yet, but he just got announced the other day as a full-time firefighter. He had been being part-time, so now he's full-time with that fire department. So it's like you're kind of thinking, well, what is he doing moving forward?
Yeah.
Because, I would assume if he already knew that Jon Jones fight was going to happen maybe this summer, then he would not be doing that because that's going to be one of the biggest fights of his career. And he's had some big fights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that we will see Jon Jones fight in 2022.
I don't know if we will either.
Yeah.
I don't foresee it.
And it's sucky because it's like these pay-per-views need star power.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. And that we're only looking at 1 or 2 fights per card. I mean, yeah, for us diehards, we can sit here and pick apart and say, oh, yeah, well, I like this guy, I like this guy. But at the end of the day, man, we need 2 popular. We need, on every card, I'd like to see a title fight. I'd like that co-main event to be very popular. And then, 2 more fights on there. That opening fight on the main card, you can put in some new names and stuff. But I need that star power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been missing, man. But yeah, so I guess we'll see moving forward if we'll see Jon Jones in 2022. I hope so. He's one of the big time guys in UFC that I'd like to see him fight. Nate Diaz, Stipe, so much star power that's on the bench right now,
absolutely.
man. And talking about somebody that's been on the bench, another star, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, man.
It's my girl, man. I love watching her fight.
Yeah, she's been in the news lately. She is eyeing a summer return for a rematch against Weili Zhang. I actually can pronounce her name. Yeah, Weili Zhang or Zhang Weili. That is how you pronounce her name. We botched that bad. Tons of podcasts.
With the Willie Zhang.
Yeah.
Sound like Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Oh, Willie Zhang fighting again. No, that sounded, like you said, that sounded bad.
Yeah, so I'm glad we don't have to botch her name anymore.
Yeah.
Weili Zhang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this fight makes sense for both of them, man. Look, this is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk won.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. You look at the end of that fight and everybody's like, oh, young Jacek, look at her head. She's got all that, what's it called? Hematoma? Is that how you pronounce it? Pretty much just swelling all over her head.
Yeah.
I think that's the scientific word for it, the hematoma or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I remember Mary fell asleep and she woke up and seen the end of it, and she was just in awe, like, how swollen Joanna Jedrzejczyk's face is. But it was swollen like that, like in the 3rd or 4th round, and she just kept coming, and the doctors didn't stop it. And, man, that just made me like her so much more. Like, she is just a warrior, man.
Yeah.
And young Jacek, man, we haven't seen her fight in like a year, maybe. It's been a long time. So I've been waiting for her comeback. I know she kind of did the Instagram model thing for a while, but
she was successful at that.
Yeah, she was successful at that too.
It even went past Instagram. She started just modeling.
Yeah, I know.
So, but I thought that was interesting. But I mean, you can make more money.
I was gonna say you got a little too excited about that. You was like, she was very successful.
No, dude, but like
I know she was. I was just.
It was very like. It's cool because like.
Sorry, Hannah and Mary don't watch the podcast.
No, it ain't like that. But
I know.
Like, no, Instagram models don't impress me because it's most of the time they're kind of like, oh, let me see some cleavage, let me see some butt crack, and they tweak their photos so much. I was impressed because I was like, you got this UFC fighter, just making photos. Then actually turns into a model, and it's like, heck yeah, like that's cool. Because then you're a model. You ain't an Instagram models. Like I said, they just don't impress me. But like models, like, dude, that's a real job. That takes work. And I was like, dang, Joanna, like you're killing it, and you're making so much money, and you're not getting kicked
well, that's
in
the thing. That's the thing is like you're not getting hit in the face. And I think after that first fight when she suffered all that swelling. After the fight, I felt bad for her because to me, I was like, she's a warrior. Like, she has nothing to be ashamed about with her face looking like that. But she didn't want to do the interview, and she kept covering her face with the towel. She was pretty embarrassed or self-conscious on how she looked after that. And unfortunately, people were making fun of her and stuff on social media and Twitter and all that. But it's like they would never go in there and step in there and take that kind of punishment. And she dished that kind of punishment that fight as well. Weili Zhang just did not. She bruised up and stuff. She just didn't swell like Joanna did. But Weili Zhang's coming off 2 title fight losses to Rose. She got TKO'd in one and then beat by decision in another. So I think this makes sense. Young Jacek's still up there. The only people Young Jacek has not really got the best of is Rose and Zhang. So I think this makes sense to have that second fight there. That's a fun one. Definitely got to make this summer.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think it'd be a great fight.
Yeah, so kind of getting down towards the end here. There's been some, other companies kind of up and coming, and I was going to get your opinion. Do you think any of these could possibly give the UFC some competition in the future? We've always had that Bellator. We've had PFL's kind of new thing. They've got Kayla Harrison. She's kind of their star in that. Bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle fighting championships. That's kind of been fun, man. The pay-per-views are like $4.99. I haven't got them, but I've watched the highlights. Mike Perry main evented last week.
Oh, did he?
And
really?
He beat him and the guy. Him and the guy that got famous from UFC. I don't know if you watched this clip of Tough. You might have seen this, but his name was Julian Lane. And he was in that Tough, reality show. And he was wanting to fight somebody in the bedrooms, like, when all the guys are, like, have all those twin beds. They set it up where you're, like, getting in drama outside the octagon. Yeah. And he was crying. He was so mad. He was like, let me bang, bro. And he was, like, so mad that they were holding him back. Like, he wanted to fight. And he was like, let me bang, bro. And then that came, like, a big saying. So it was, like... that was fun to kind of see those two guys fight, watching awesome. The highlights. So and they just got purchased by Thriller, the company that had Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., and Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. So this is about to get fun.
Yeah.
And their bare knuckles president, I don't remember his name, but he was on Ariel Helwani the other day, and he said that they are going after the biggest free agent in the market this year. And Ariel said, "Is that Francis?" And he said, "Yes." So, Francis Ngannou with bare knuckle? What?
Oh, that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
I mean, it's scary with 4-ounce gloves on. It's scary. It's scary in the Jackass movie with a boxing glove on.
Yeah, the boxing glove. But now you take away that padding from that giant boxing glove.
Yeah.
And your bare knuckle, and I know they do a little wrap, but dang, but that's only for your protection. That's not you're still feeling that.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be scary.
Yeah.
That'd be scary, but I'd love to watch that.
I don't know who they'd get to face him, but yeah, I mean, bare knuckle, they've been rumored they're talking about getting Tyron Woodley in there and so they might have something going on, but here is an MMA organization that I feel has some promise. Eagle FC. Khabib, this is his company. He has brought it into America. There's actually a fight tonight. It is a good main event. So Khabib is the Dana White to this organization. It's his.
Really?
Yeah, he owns it all.
I didn't even know that.
Guess who's headlining tonight? Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez for free. So far, Eagle FC is free. You download the app and it's free to watch, and that is not a sponsor. And
it's free.
Yeah.
You've got to enter in FBP 2022 in the little checkout, and you can watch it for free.
But I mean, now I know Diego Sanchez is a veteran. He's been in there for a while. But the prevalence of this Eagle FC is there is a 165-pound division. which they have been wanting in the UFC forever.
Yeah.
So these two are getting the 165-pound division started out in Khabib's organization, and you've got some big names in there. You've got Kevin Lee heading up this 165-pound division. Diego Sanchez giving you one of those vets in there to kind of mix it up a little bit. Rashard Evans, he won at the first Eagle FC. So they're kind of getting in the mix, man. I'm not saying they're a competitor to UFC right now, but I think some of these big names are going to start going there.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are kind of getting tired of the UFC. They're getting tired of the low pay. They're getting tired of the clout.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like have it all be hyped up to get nothing out of it. You know, a lot of these fights are just kind of flatlining, and I think the company kind of is too. Because viewers really do care about how the fighters are treated.
I agree. Yeah.
So, and if someone could go to PFL or bare knuckle, maybe they make the same, but the company makes a lot less.
And it's nice that they're making. It's nice that these other organizations are giving us something else to watch.
Yeah.
Now UFC still is the best of the best. You know, it's got the best characters right now and stuff.
Right now.
In fighting, and that's what the fighters bring. That's not Dana White. I think other companies market better, their promotions better, their posters are better.
Yeah.
So what Dana White and them do, I don't believe that it's the fighters that make that.
I think what Dana White and them did was it's kind of a new sport.
Yeah.
They capitalized on it.
Yeah.
I think these people are just capitalism. I think they're seeing the problems with UFC and trying to just be a good competitor.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's
pure capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need it.
Yeah.
Because here's the good thing about capitalism is that when you have a monopoly like the UFC, you can pay your fighters $10, they'll take it. And you can make $20 million. But the second another company comes out and they're like, hey, we'll pay your fighters $20, but we only make $100, then these fighters are like, wait, I can make more, and the company makes less than this company. Like, you're treated better, you know, and the percentage is a lot better for the company. So that's capitalism. So I can see the UFC getting into the situation where they're going to start paying people more because their hands are going to be tied.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get better, man. Maybe they can get a union involved and, you know, start pushing for some stuff.
Yeah, it'd be very helpful for them.
Yeah.
Because the second you have your fighters walk out on you, you're not a company anymore.
Yeah.
So you got big names that your company heavily relies on. You can't have them just leave.
I agree, yeah. So yeah, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. Next Saturday, we got UFC 272. I'm in a huge dilemma here. What we talked about earlier, man. It's like, Colby Covington versus Masvidal. I want to watch that, but look at the rest of the card. Then it's like,
look at the rest of it.
And then here's the other side. The Batman that I've been waiting for is coming out next weekend as well.
Yeah.
And right now, to me and my consumer eyes and what my money's worth.
Well, you're talking about the Batman would be cheaper than it would be to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just for like...
I mean, I know you got to be interested, you know.
Yeah.
And but to me, the Batman, I feel like I'm going to get more out of watching the Batman, like internally, making me feel better than watching what they're giving us this week or for the next pay-per-view. I don't feel like, Colby Covington versus Masvidal. I want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
No. But, I agree. I want to see it. Honestly, I kind of get tired of like Colby, and I don't dislike Masvidal. I love Masvidal, but man, he's fluffed up, and he's not been like winning his fights lately.
Well, he's probably. I mean, man, you got to fight Kamaru Usman, the pound for pound the best.
No. Yeah, but he's just like after his Askren knockout, he's really like fluffed himself.
That got him stardom.
That got him stardom. But I think he's just living on cloud nine and like continuing to like keep the teddy bear like full of cotton, and it's fine. But I kind of just get tired of like the heel that Colby plays. So I want to see this fight, but if I don't, I don't. Like, I'm not as interested in it as I would be like 6 months ago.
Yeah, so They released a little build up today. I think I sent it to you, and that kind of got me excited for a second. I was like, wait, do I really want to like see the Batman over this? But I'm like, yeah, I think I do. But
well, it's kind of like you said. Do you want to pay $75?
I don't want to pay $75.
You want to pay $75 for one fight?
And then I can scroll on TikTok. I literally last time I was scrolling on TikTok, somebody's sitting there showing the Adesanya Robert Whittaker fight.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
Right there. And I mean, they didn't get caught. And it's like, I'm not into that because the fighters don't get it, but they're not getting it anyways.
They're not getting it anyways. Yeah. So the difference is Dana White doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like I have to pay $75 to sit through a pay-per-view that doesn't waiting for this final fight, and you're not even there's not even a title fight on here.
Yeah.
I thought they tried to do title fights every time. Like I think you either should have did a really good co-main event.
Yeah, a really good
or a title fight as the main event and Colby Masvidal as the co-main.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just that's why I'm in a dilemma with this. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna go to the movies.
It's just kind of like, why do you want to pay that much for one? Like you're only interested in one fight.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, I guess if we were like...
I'd do it for Diaz.
Yeah, no.
I'd do it for Diaz.
Yeah, for Diaz, absolutely. And a couple fighters, absolutely. But, like, we got some big names. Like, we got Barboza, we got RDA, Alex Oliveira.
Big names to us.
Big names to us. But, like you said, man, this is a flat card.
Yeah.
So...
And, yeah, and I mean, the fight night cards they've been giving us, man... Like tomorrow night, like you got Makachev and Bobby Green. It's literally the only fight on there that has some interest to me.
Yeah.
And I know fight nights, I do like fight nights in a sense because I can watch the up and coming talent and guys make them name for themselves. So that the fight nights allow the fans to see what is not getting promoted. I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Like you get to see these up and comers.
No, absolutely.
But you still at least give us a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and break it down. So
absolutely.
We'll start with Colby Covington and Masvidal. We'll start at the top. Two former teammates. They were roommates.
Yep. Practiced with each other.
Colby Covington slept on Masvidal's couch.
Yep.
Like, they were tight. There's videos of them after fights hugging and dapping up and everything. These two were brothers, but, stuff happens.
Yeah.
So now you've got two guys that, let's get down to it. If Colby Covington, if there was not a Kamaru Usman, let's say Kamaru Usman does not exist, I think Colby Covington has been ruling this welterweight division for the last year or two.
I don't. As much as I hate it, I don't fully disagree.
Yeah, and I hate to say that too. I'm not a Colby Covington fan, but he's good. Yeah. And I think Kamaru Usman, you're saying he's pound for pound number one right now.
Yeah.
If there was not a Kamaru Usman, we're saying Colby Covington's pound for pound number one. If you look at
disagree.
Both of these guys have fought Masvidal fought Kamaru Usman twice. Colby Covington was winning that first fight probably if he did not get finished.
Yeah.
Second fight, Kamaru was winning most of the fight, but Colby rocked him like twice.
Yeah.
And Kamaru, it was kind of getting to like where you were kind of like, all right, Kamaru, maybe just play it safe so this guy doesn't like finish you.
Yeah.
And then, you got Masvidal. Kamaru kind of dominated him in that first fight. I think it was a 50-43.
Yeah.
On the scorecards, and then that second fight he knocked him unconscious. I don't think Colby has got that kind of knockout power to knock him unconscious.
Yeah.
But I've seen videos of him wrestling. I think I've showed you some of them like back in the day. I don't think much has changed.
Yeah.
I think Colby's gonna do what he does, and that what he does very well. He's gonna push that pace.
Yeah.
He's gonna throw punches to set up his clinches. He's not going to stop. He's going to provide that pressure.
He's going to be pressed.
Yeah, and I think we'll be seeing Masvidal rely on one of those big shots again.
Yeah.
And
And I agree.
Yeah.
Now, who I think would win? I want Masvidal.
Yeah. Oh, I want Masvidal.
I
to
want
win too,
Masvidal,
man.
but I want Masvidal, but
We're good. We'll just pay attention to it, but I think we'll be good.
We got like 2.5.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. No, but I want Masvidal, but I think it might be Colby.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Like, this rivalry's gotten really personal.
Yeah.
Like, Colby's bringing in wife, Masvidal's ex-wife. He's bringing in kids. Like, it's just too much, man.
But
like,
see, that's the thing. Like, that's what I was saying I hate about Colby.
Yeah.
Like, he plays that heel card, and it sells. But it's like, you don't have to be like that, man.
Yeah.
Like, it gets to a
I
point
want
where
to
it's
see
like,
more of
just
him
stop.
after that second Kamaru Usman fight when they showed respect at the end.
Yeah.
I think it'll come over. But if it
You think
doesn't,
so?
we'll just catch it right away and start another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it will. I want to see more of that Colby. I want to see
agree.
more of the Colby that I've seen on TikTok, where a fan was videoed him backstage and he was giving the fan some advice, and it was just real. It was genuine.
Yeah, like I like
think,
that.
Yeah,
I don't. Like
I think
this.
he's a good
I don't
enough.
Like this.
I
He's
think
a good enough fighter. He doesn't need to do.
Yeah,
that.
he's a good enough fighter with that being genuine and the way he fights. That would I think he would be okay.
Exactly. Now, well, moving on.
Yeah, now I might put if
if you had to say.
I'm going with Colby. But if I had to put a little money on it there, and I would say if Colby can win me some money by him getting like a TKO or something, I might put a little money down.
Yeah, I think it might go to decision. In all honesty.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put a little money down on Colby if I can win.
Yeah.
I don't like putting money down when I got to put up the same amount. You know, you got to put out $10 to make $9. Nah.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I mean, going into the co-main event here, you got RDA versus Rafael Fiziev. Rafael is coming up. He's a lightweight that's coming up, and RDA just dropping down to the lightweight division. I think this is RDA making another kind of comeback to the lightweight division, which he once ruled and was champion of.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, like RDA and Rafael Fiziev is your co-main event. So I just felt like there should have been a little more star power there in that main event or co-main event. I mean, this is RDA's return to the lightweight division, which he was once champion in.
Yeah.
But I just felt like we should have got something else as the co-main event.
No, I agree completely.
And
it's a little disappointing.
Moving on here, we got Edson Barbosa. Me and you like Edson Barbosa. We like that spinning wheel kick that makes people dance. After they get hit.
Yeah.
He's facing up and coming Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell. I think he's that guy. I played you his rap album.
The white country guy?
Yeah, he's kind of took some flack here lately. He was on Ariel Helwani the other day, and he was kind of, talking to Ariel about being Jewish, and he was on there pretty much talking about how he believes school shootings are a conspiracy that the government does and stuff. We won't get into that, but just like, ridiculous stuff like that.
Stuff like that, yeah.
And I think that kind of really hurt his stock. So I think that definitely
I'd say so.
That definitely gives this pay-per-view less flack as well, or less interest as well. And then you got Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. I like Kevin Holland. I like Alex Oliveira. I think this is a fight that should be like, open in the main card, or that second fight on the main card like it is. That's fine.
Yeah.
Those two, I don't really know a prediction for that fight. Kevin Holland, he started out real dominant. And then now it's kind of hard to predict how fights are going to go with him. I know a lot of guys have been utilizing wrestling against him, because he was so dominant when he first came on the scene. So, and then lastly, the opener of the card, Greg Hardy versus Sergey Spivak.
Spivak.
Yeah, that's probably how you pronounce it. And I like Greg Hardy, man. I don't have nothing wrong with these first 2 fights on the card.
Yeah.
You know, I think these are your typical
Yeah,
like
I mean, Greg
openers.
Hardy's good. Yeah, these are typical.
But the RDA and Edson Barbosa and Bryce Mitchell, I feel like those should be on fight nights.
Yeah,
we should probably
or at least we get a better co-main.
Yeah. I don't believe they're giving us the correct product now, and
the cost.
Like I told you earlier, it's with what's going on and how they're paying the fighters. It's just hard for me to support that.
No, absolutely.
And it's gonna have to be a Nate Diaz, a Conor McGregor card or something for me to buy it.
Yeah.
Anymore moving forward, but yeah, man. You know, I'm excited for Colby Masvidal.
I think it'll be a good fight. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see those highlights.
This is a fight we as the fans have been wanting for a while,
yeah.
and I'm glad it's happening. We can finally get some clarity to who's better, and get this bad blood out. I think they'll still have bad blood after the fight. They won't shake hands. Regardless.
No. I don't think they will either. Well, you're talking about, dude, you're making it personal with kids.
Yeah,
I
know. Yeah.
Masvidal
was fired up today, though, in that ESPN interview. Like, like he says, he's ready to break his face.
Yeah. Well, he always says that.
Yeah, I know.
But he only did it once.
He's break their face and baptize them.
Yeah. Did he say that again?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it's like, I like how fired up he is.
I like it, too, but I want to see him, react to that.
But yeah, it's tough because it's like, yeah, you're fired up. You know how violent you can be, but when a guy can do what he wants, like Colby, and is good at what he does, you can't really portray that into what you're gonna do.
No,
it's
unless
hard.
You're actually gonna do it. You gotta go out there and be a little fearless and go at it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hype about that. Like I can't wait to maybe tune in on TikTok or something if I see it while I'm flipping through.
Catch the recap.
But yeah, I'm gonna be in the theater with my feet propped up,
that
watching
butt warmer.
Watching my new guy Robert Pattinson, Batman.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how he's gonna do, man.
I think it'll be a fun Batman.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope they incorporate the Joker in it somehow. At the end, I'd like to see a cameo.
Some kind.
I know people are tired of the Joker. They're saying they need to show more villains, but he's just so good of a character.
That's the villain.
Yeah, he's just so good, man. Mr. Freeze and all. I like all the villains.
They're cool,
but they just don't hit the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's the villain you think of when you think of Batman.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to see that movie. It's a 3-hour movie, just like Spider-Man: No Way Home. And,
now, Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
So I told somebody at work that they said, what's the best movie you probably ever saw in your life? And I said, well, obviously it's going to change.
Yeah.
I was like, I think beforehand, Get Out was one of the better ones I've seen.
That's a great movie.
But I told them, as of right now, moving on with life, because it's going to change all the time. But I was like, Spider-Man No Way Home is the best movie I've ever saw.
I think it's definitely top 5.
Yeah.
It
with my interest,
it was such a great movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was incredible to watch that.
And somebody at work, they were telling me that their granddaughter was an extra in the movie.
Oh,
so I thought that was pretty cool. Because they were big fans of it, and they're late 70s, pushing 80s, so that was cool to hear that they were big fans of it and went to the theater to see it.
I wish you could find out what their part was.
Yeah,
go find them in the movie.
Because I didn't expect anybody in there when I said that to be like, "Oh yeah, I like that movie too." No, there was. Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome, man.
So yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, guys, we'll leave it at there. Haven't brought you an MMA show in a while, so this was a cool one to do. Sit down with my guy Albert. We haven't got to sit down and do a podcast in a while, so thanks for coming on, Albert.
Here, guys. Absolutely, I love doing it. It's so much fun.
And until next time, guys, I'm working on some another cryptid one. This one's involving UFO extraterrestrial, possible witness. So I hope I can get that worked out. That's kind of in the cards right now. Hopefully I can get that podcast to you in the next couple of weeks. I won't say anything else about it, but that should be a good one.
Keep you on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. But thanks for watching, guys.